Hello you guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's been a hot minute since I did a writing vlog with you guys, and so I thought there was no better way to start off the new year than by sharing with you all kind of what I've been up to in the writing world for the last 6 months or so. There's been a lot going on, it's been a lot of fun. We're gonna journey back through time from the last 6 months of 2024 and just kind of catch you guys up to speed on what's going on with Project Amaranth and where we are now. So I think when we last left off, I had just turned in a full draft of my novel manuscript, Project Amaranth, to my advisor in the MFA program, and this was right before graduating, so this was in May. So I knew when I turned it in that it was in pretty rough shape, especially the last, I want to say like 30-40% of the novel or so. After graduation, when I took a closer look at the manuscript, I realized there was really just a couple chapters that I'd skimmed over that I really needed to fill out and kind of insert a lot more scenes into it and just give it more time to breathe, I guess, would be a good way to put it. But as you'll see throughout this vlog, I really didn't know what I was getting myself into. I thought it was going to be maybe 1-2 chapters that I'd add in to kind of fill out the story. It ended up being like 10, but what was especially fun about that time is writing kind of was my own thing again, where I wasn't writing for my advisor or for a workshop group. For the first time in 2 years, I was able to just write for fun again and just to kind of get lost in the story and enjoy it for my own sake again. So that was really fun, but that also kind of came with a negative side too, where I didn't have any accountability anymore and I didn't have any deadlines that were pushing me to get work done by a certain point. So I'm hoping that this vlog is kind of going to be all about getting back into the writing groove if you've been away from it for a while. So for any of you writers out there, if you're looking for kind of a surge of inspiration to start the new year strong, I'm really hoping this vlog will be the motivation that you need to be able to jump right back into your project and get excited about it again. So before we jump into the rest of the vlog, I would love to know from you, what are your writing goals for 2025? Share those in the comments below. I can't wait to cheer you guys on. And without any further ado, let's just roll the video. It's Wednesday, August 28th. It's a notable day because today I got my very first fall drink. So I got a chai with pumpkin cold foam, which I am very excited about. I'm kind of trying to get back into the groove again. Basically, the situation is I've been working on the ending of the book. So kind of coming out of the residency, I realized there were about 5 chapters that either need to be written or seriously revised before I can call this whole draft done. So anyway, I'm not feeling super motivated today. I don't feel inspired or anything, but I don't know, I just thought I'd pick up my camera anyway and check in with you guys, so wish me luck. Hey friends, so I'm coming at you live from, I guess, mid-September now. I haven't been vlogging that much because I haven't been writing that much. I think maybe the problem is that the part of the book that I'm trying to write right now needs to convey kind of a passing of time and a lot of events happening, but maybe I'm not exactly clear on what those events are. Trying to cover a lot of ground in a very short time without really knowing what that ground is. I feel like this isn't really making sense, but it really does feel like every time I've gone to write, I kind of feel like I'm banging my head against the wall. I know I'm gonna figure it out, but it's just a weird place to be in. Writing's been tricky lately, so I don't know, it's kind of funny. Like every time I reach a point like this, I always kind of wonder, like, can I really do this? Am I really a writer? Can I really get through this? And I have to remind myself, like, I've done it so often in the past. I've reached so many points like this where I just didn't know where the story was gonna go, and then something clicks eventually. I don't know, I just have to keep working at it from different directions, and then eventually I'll get to that breakthrough moment. But I've been thinking about this chapter over and over, and I do have a couple ideas of what I could do, so I'm just gonna kind of go to the library and play around with those for maybe 4 or 5 hours, and just hopefully I'll get some kind of breakthrough, but if not, I'll put in the work, so that's the best I can do. Okay, so that went pretty great. Yeah, I guess this just goes to show you that if you sit down for 3 or 4 hours and just work at something, you'll break through. So I still don't really know where this whole plot thread's going, but I feel better about it now than I did this morning. So that's the goal, right? I'm back. So just in the way of a bit of an update, I have honestly been really struggling with this book for the last couple weeks. I think mostly because I had this sense that there were more scenes, but I didn't really know what they were. Last week, I was able to finally kind of convene with my brothers and my sister, who kind of helped me brainstorm out what could happen next, and So we kind of dredged up some new scene ideas, and then we kind of stumbled upon an idea that would make everything that I've written so far make a lot more sense. So that felt amazing because all these chapters that I've written since I graduated, I kind of had this tiny feeling that I might have to rewrite them all completely or rearrange them quite a bit. But this breakthrough last week made it so that all of those scenes make a lot more sense and that they're all building towards what I'd been hoping they were building toward. I just have a couple more chapters that are going to slide in between those, what I've written and then the ending. Anyway, so this is all kind of vague and confusing, but the gist is I finally have a direction now, and I finally know what scenes come next, and I know what to work on. So anyway, so now that you have all that context, the library is unfortunately closed today, alas. So I'm going to my favorite coffee shop instead, and I've got my music. Listening to music on the way to the coffee shop always hypes me up and gets me in the mood. So that's my plan right now, is play my Project Amaranth playlist and drive to the coffee shop and just try to think through everything that's going to come next and get in the zone. And that way when I get to the coffee shop, hopefully I can just open my laptop and dive right in. It has been a great day. I'd originally only planned to write for maybe 2 hours today, but I set a timer. I got so in the zone. I basically wrote the entire chapter today, which is awesome. That's probably the best writing day I've had in a long time. And granted, I was working with a really heavy outline, so I had a lot to work with, but yeah, so that's the kind of day that I would have when I was under a really heavy deadline for the MFA. So to finally have that feeling again was incredible. And it's really nice because honestly, these last few weeks have been really hard. I just feel like I've been kind of slogging along without really a clear direction of where I'm going. And now that I do have that direction, I feel like I can finally start to make some serious progress, which is awesome because I don't know if I've told you guys this yet, but I am doing a lot of travel later this fall. So these are really the last few weeks of scheduled time that I have at home to be working on this book. By the time I get back from this trip, it'll be going into the holidays and I won't have as much time to devote to this story. So I really want to take advantage of this time while I can. And it just kind of makes sense to me that I should be working on it while everything's so clear in my imagination. So anyway, so this week I got to get some serious work done. Today is October something, 20 something, I don't even know. I don't really remember when I last updated you guys, but I was really having a hard time with these chapters because one week I'll be super inspired and I'll be writing like a maniac, and then the next week I'll go back to the exact same chapter and I'll just feel dry, completely used up, just no inspiration at all. So anyway, I guess that's kind of what's going on right now. So I'm here in my hometown right now, and there are 2 coffee shops on this street. So one of them, my favorite one, has the best chai on the entire central coast of California. But it has pretty much no seating and no ambiance to it, other than it's pretty much a pick up and go kind of place. But then the place down the street has incredible ambiance, but terrible coffee. So I'm gonna commit the cardinal coffee shop sin, which is I bought coffee from the first place, and I'm going to smuggle it into the second coffee shop and hope that nobody notices. Anyway, so that's where I'm off to. Wish me luck. I'm hoping this is going to be a smashing good writing day, but we'll see. So I am fresh back from Europe. I am mostly recovered from jet lag. Sorry, I'm also really congested from the flight and everything. It has been at least a month since I sat down and really did a full writing session. I was able to sneak in a little bit of writing on the plane, but mostly kind of what I found with getting back into the routine of writing is if you've been away for a while, the best thing you can do is just give yourself an allotment of 2 to 3 hours of deep work and just go through your story notes and get inspired and get excited about the story again. So even though I've taken almost a month off of writing, the ideas have still been kind of steeping in the back of my mind the whole time. On bus drives or on plane rides, I would be listening to the music and kind of thinking through different plot points, and I would write down any ideas that came to me. So what I'm going to do today is just kind of consolidate all of that and sort of make a plan of the next few chapters that need to get written, and we'll see how much I can actually get done before the end of the year. This whole process has been taking a lot longer than I thought it would, but I know that's good, right? Because the longer you spend on the story, the more of your own, soul and life you pour into it, the higher quality it will be. So I don't want to rush the making of this book. I want to make sure I'm putting the best of myself into it. But even having said that, it is a little frustrating as a writer to be like, I thought I was going to be done with this like 6 months ago, and here I am still. But trying to just have grace for myself. It's going to be okay. It's going to take as long as it takes. And all I can do right now is go to the coffee shop and dive right in. So let's jump to it, guys. Wow, I am caffeinated. Hello. I maybe got like 3 hours of writing in, but instead of just plotting stuff out, I was actually able to work through most of a chapter, mostly because I had already written a handful of different scenes that take place in that chapter, so I really just had to kind of stitch them together. But it's always such a good feeling to make progress on something like that and then feel like, okay, it looks a little bit more like it will look when it's done. So I feel like I could have kept going, but regretfully I do have to go and get some work done. So we'll be back at it later this week. We're gonna see how much we can get done. Hey friends, so I'm a little bit late getting out of the house this morning. Mostly that's because I'm not feeling super motivated today. But it's also kind of because I'm still sort of recovering from this cold that I had over the weekend. So anyway, this morning I was walking on the treadmill and just kind of listening to my playlist of songs, and I was really hoping some new scene or inspiration would strike me out of nowhere and just make everything make sense for the day. It didn't. I just was replaying old scenes in my head and stuff, so I'm really hoping in this video I can kind of share with you guys the process of and kind of discover for myself too, what to do if you're really just not in the mood for writing but you need to get work done. Because that's kind of where I am now, where I want to just surge through and finish the rest of this book, but I'm not feeling super inspired or motivated to do it because I don't really feel like, I don't honestly even know why I'm struggling with this so much, but there's multiple chapters I still need to write. I'm not really in the mood to write them, so really what I'm going to do is what I kind of feel like I always do when I get in this situation, which is I'm going to go to the coffee shop, get myself a cozy little drink, I'm going to set a timer for like 2 hours, and just work at it as much as I can in those 2 hours. If I get nowhere, at least I know that I've worked on it, but most of the time I do get somewhere and I do make progress, and it feels really, really good at the end of it. So it's just one of those things that I know I need to go do, even if I'm not in the mood. So anyway, let's go see what we can get done today. I have a good feeling. I feel like we could find a breakthrough today if we put enough time in. So let's go see. That was so good. I knew that was gonna happen. I knew it. I literally spent like 2 hours I set a timer, I just deep dove into it, and I started on a chapter and it got so good. Like, I'm really, really excited about this one. So I still don't really know where it's all going. I still feel like I'm kind of discovering it as I write it, but I'm so, so proud of the scene and how it turned out. It feels really, really good. So I got kicked out of the coffee shop because they closed, so I'm home now and I'm going to go ahead and strike while the iron's hot. I'm going to write a little bit more, just make myself a cup of tea and see how much further I can get in this chapter.
How it sways in the sun, keeping our stories in its motion, lies the truth about us.
Alright y'all, I've got updates. Pretty much ever since coming back from Europe, I have just been in the mood to write every single day. Like, I will wake up and I'll be thinking about how much I cannot wait to get to the coffee shop to work on the next scene. And this week has been crazy for writing. So there's about four chapters that I've been working on the last few months. It felt kind of like I was banging my head against the wall, like I wasn't making any progress. But in the last week, I rewrote all of those chapters, all 4 chapters, from beginning to end. And they're pretty much done, which is awesome. So all those chapters that I had been slaving over for the last few months, trying to figure out what was missing, I finally got there. I finally made it. And there are so many scenes in there I'm so stoked about. I don't know what happened this week, but I've just been pretty much writing my stories every single day, thinking about my stories when I'm not writing them. And I rewrote all 4 of those chapters I've been working on for the last few months, which is crazy. But see, now I'm at the point where I was 4 months ago, where I've reached the end of kind of the known path, and now I'm looking into the unknown of these last 2 or 3 chapters. And there's still so much I feel like I don't know, but at least I feel like kind of the surge, the wave that I've been riding, I feel like I'm gonna figure it out. Anyway, so I've kind of written out a map of the next few scenes and what goes down. I am meeting with my sister tomorrow for coffee, so I'm excited to meet with her and kind of like brainstorm with her about what these next couple chapters can hold. Anyway, if I can just get excited about these chapters, then I feel like I'll write them pretty quickly. But this is so exciting because I feel like this is exactly what I needed, is just kind of this surge of NaNoWriMo-esque inspiration, so that when I go into this last month of the year, I can just tackle out a bunch of the scenes. Anyway, I'll kind of update you on what goes down, but I am just so excited about my story right now, guys. I know I say this so many times, but I cannot wait for you guys to read this book. I'm so excited to get it out in the world, and I feel like it's almost there. It's so close. So all of last week, I feel like I was on a roll with writing. So I've been working on 4 or 5 chapters over the last couple months, and pretty much every single day I was going through one of those chapters and rewriting the entire thing through, just kind of polishing it up, cleaning it up a bit, and everything started connecting. I started making all these like connections across chapters and everything, so it was so exciting. But I feel like I kind of got to the end of everything that I had to rewrite. So then kind of what I've done this week is I mapped out the remaining chapters. It looks like there are five more chapters that I need to work through to get to the end of this plot line. So I worked on the first of those 5 chapters today. There's a lot of time that passes in this chapter, so I'm trying to brush up on my montage writing skills. So mostly what I've been working on is writing like a bunch of different scenes that I'm going to kind of put together in sort of a montage form to kind of convey the passing of a lot of time all at once. So anyway, I put a couple hours into it today, but because this is Christmas break that I just entered into and work is much slower than normal, I'll be able to work on it hopefully every single day this week. So I'm not going to put any expectations on myself of what I think I can get done, because I feel like chapters, sometimes I get them done really quickly and sometimes they just take way longer than I expected. But what I'm kind of hoping is if I can just ride this wave of inspiration and keep writing every single day, then I'll be able to make a ton of progress. Anyway, I kind of have a deadline in mind, but I'm holding it really loosely, knowing that, these things never really work out the way I expect they will. Anyway, so all of this to say, it was a super great writing day, and I'm really looking forward to diving back into it tomorrow. So, yeah, that's my friend. I gotta go. So today I was working on a chapter that is pretty new in the grand scheme of things. I think I came up with it maybe last week or the week before. So it was kind of one that, was like fresher in my imagination, and one that I was pretty excited to get down. So I'm sort of at this point now where I really only have these last like 5 chapters or so to go. I just want to get the first draft of those 5 chapters done as quickly as possible, because I feel like I've learned at this point, if I can just get those 5 chapters written, some form of them written, then I can always go back through and I can revise and I can make it better. But right now I am so close to the end, and already I'm thinking through all these things, consistency errors and things I'm going to have to go back in and kind of fix for continuity's sake. So there's a lot of things about the earlier chapters that I want to change now, because what I have learned now at the ending changes things at the beginning a little bit. So there's a lot I'm going to need to do in edits, but I guess right now the good news is I feel like I have a pretty clear path to finishing. So I really just need to keep putting in these kind of days. I think I got like 6 hours of deep work in today, which is awesome. So anyway, that's kind of where I am right now. If I can just get a first draft done of these next 5 chapters, then I'll have a full draft of the entire novel, and from that I can kind of go through and edit the whole thing to my satisfaction before I send it out to anybody. So it's making everything a lot easier going into it with that kind of mindset where, just knowing like it doesn't have to be perfect this go around, I just have to get it written, and then I'll go back in and I'll make it pretty later. But right now I just need to get the actual movement of the scene down on paper. So that's kind of where I am right now. But all things considered, I'm feeling pretty good about it. Like, especially as we get closer to the new year and I'm looking back over how far this novel has come in the last 12 months. A year ago, I probably only had about 60% of the novel done, and the novel has come so far, and I'm super proud of what it is now, and I really, really can't wait Like, it's just getting closer and closer to what I always imagined it would be. It's just a really cool place to be. Anyway, I think that's all I have to say to you today, but I will definitely keep you posted in the next few weeks as I continue to try to get through all these chapters. So, cheers, see you next time.